This is Ritesh Srinivasan and welcome to my channel. In this video, let's look at the generalist language model, which is a trillion weight model from Google research. Okay, but what they claim is that this can be trained and served efficiently thanks to sparsity, and it achieves competitive performance on multiple few short language learning tasks when compared to a dense language model like GPT-3, which has 175 billion parameters, okay, with significantly improved learning efficiency across 29 public NLP benchmarks in 7 categories spanning language completion, open domain question answering, and natural language inference tasks. So this is like a humongous model, right? Because this has a trillion weights. Okay, whereas GPT-3 had 175 billion weights, this is a trillion weight model. But they say that it is efficiently, it can be trained efficiently and served efficiently. Basically served efficiently in terms of computation and energy use, basically inference. Okay, so let's look at what is this generalist language model. So they claim it has efficient scaling of language models with mixture of experts. Okay, let us look at what is this model. Okay, but before that you need a data set to train this one like this huge model, right? So what these researchers did is they built a high quality 1.6 trillion token data set. Okay, again the data set size is also huge, and for this they used a representative of wide range of downstream use cases for the model. So they used web pages. Okay, but the quality of web pages will be from professional writing to low quality comment and forum pages, right? So then what they did was they developed a text quality filter that was trained on a collection of text from Wikipedia and books to determine the quality of content of web page. Okay, finally they applied this filter to generate the final subset of web pages and combined this with books and Wikipedia to create the final training dataset. So this is a set of filtered web pages which are combined with books and Wikipedia. So you get this 1.6 trillion token dataset. Okay, only Google can get access to such huge datasets. Let's look at what is the model and architecture of generalist language model. So it uses a concept of mixture of experts model. Okay, so this is a type of model that can be thought of as having different submodels or experts which are specialized for different inputs. And the experts in each layer are controlled by a gating network which activates experts based on the input data. Okay, so let's go to the model and then come back to this description over here. So what happens in a typical transformer layer, okay, a layer of a transformer model is you have this multi-head attention, right? Then you have this normalization feed forward network, and then it goes to the encoder output. Okay, so what is the change which has done over here? So what happens is that this feed forward network layer over here is replaced by a set of experts. Okay, so here you have 64 expert layers which are nothing but feed forward networks. So for every input over here, if you see, there are two experts which are activated over here. Okay, so for every input you have two experts which are randomly activated. Say if you see for the first word you saw two different feed forward networks, for the next word you see two different, and so on. Okay, so these two words, okay, where each input token is dynamically routed to two selected expert networks out of 64 for prediction. Okay, so this is what happens in this generalist language model. Okay, so what happens is that in this network architecture, every other layer, every alternate transformer layer is actually replaced by this mixture of expert layer. Okay, so that is what is explained over here. The full version of generalist language model has 1.2 trillion total parameters across 64 experts, okay, per mixture of experts layer, with 32 mixture of expert layers in total, but only activates a subnetwork of 97 billion parameters per token prediction during inference. Okay, so even though it's a 1.2 trillion weight model, okay, during inference only 97 billion parameters are activated per token, per input token. Okay, and this is what is your mixture of experts layer. Okay, this is a mixture of experts layer where you have 64 experts. Basically these are feed forward network. For every input token, any two will be selected, okay, during inference. So this is the change which happens, and what this brings in is that you can think of these experts as specialized for different inputs. Okay, so what they say over here is that this mixture of expert layer has multiple experts, each a feed forward network with identical architecture but different weight parameters. Even though this mixture of expert layer has many more parameters, the experts are sparsely activated, meaning that for a given input token, only two experts are used, giving the model more capacity while limiting computation. Okay, during training, each mixture of expert layers gating network is trained and used its input to activate the best two experts for each token, which are then used for inference. Okay, so if you have E experts for each mixture of experts layer, then essentially provides a collection of E into E-1 different feed forward network combinations, thus leading to more computational flexibility. Okay, the final learned representation of a token will be weighted combination of the outputs from the two experts. This allows different experts to activate on different types of inputs. Okay, so that is the idea over here, and they say that to enable scaling to larger models, each expert within this architecture can span multiple computational devices. So they explain that they use the GSPMD compiler to solve these scaling challenges and other things. Okay, so they have evaluated this generalist language model using a 0-shot and 1-shot setting where the tasks are never seen during training. So they have done it on different tasks like close and completion tasks, open domain question answering, common sense reasoning, right? Vinograd style tasks, superglue tasks, so different set of these things. So in total there are 8 natural language generation tasks where the generated phrases are evaluated against the ground truth targets via exact match accuracy and F1 measure, and 21 language understanding tasks where prediction from several options is chosen via conditional log likelihood. Okay, so this is what is their evaluation, this thing. The NLU score is an average of accuracy and F1 scores. Okay, so this is what is this thing. Both exact match accuracy and F1 are scaled from 0 to 100 across all our results and average for the NLG scores below. Okay, so they show the results over here. So this generalist language model will reduce to a basic dense transformer language model architecture when each MOE layer has only one expert. What happens is that if you take this generalist language model, okay, and if you have only one expert over here, this becomes just a feed forward network layer of a transformer layer. So if you consider only one expert over here, this entire generalist language model will reduce to a transformer based language model. Okay, that is what is basic dense transformer based language model. Now how are they representing this particular GLAM model? What is the notation? So if it is 1B/64E, okay, the 64E stands for the mixture of experts layer. So every mixture of experts layer will have 64 feed forward networks, okay, out of which only 2 will get activated during inference, and this 1B stands for 1 billion parameter dense model. Okay, so for example 1 billion/64E represents the architecture of 1 billion parameter dense model with every other layer replaced by a 64 expert mixture of experts layer. That's the idea over here. So what does the final model look like? So for that I referred to the paper. So this is what it looks like. You have 64 billion possible parameters, right? 64 expert layers. So in total you have 64 transformer layers. Okay, so L stands for number of layers in the transformer model. In this 64 layers, you will have 32 layers which are mixture of experts, and each layer of mixture of expert will have 64 experts. That's the idea over here. And this is the embedding size 8192, which is the embedding size of the model or model embedding dimension. The hidden parameters of the feed forward network is this 32,768. and then a number of attention heads and dimension of attention head is shown over here, 128 and 128. Okay, this is the expert layer. So this is your full size of the these are the different sizes and architecture for both expert mixture of expert and dense models that they have trained in their experiments. Okay, so here are some of the interesting results. Okay, so you see, if you see over here, what they have done is that they have compared GLAM with your GPT-3 model, which has 175 billion parameter dense GPT-3 model. Okay, what they say is that GLAM achieved higher results on average on more tasks than the GPT-3 model while using less computation during inference. Okay, so it shows say some 5 points or something over here in terms of NLG tasks. Okay, 5 points or 3 points on 0 shot and 1 shot, and over here it actually shows somewhere close to again 5 points, right? 5 and 3 points on the NLU task average score across the different benchmarks. Okay, now they show a summary of performance on 29 benchmarks compared to the dense model. Okay, it is on par with the performance of the dense model on almost 80% of 0 shot tasks and almost 90% of 1 shot tasks. Okay, so this is the the evaluation of GLAM versus GPT-3. Okay, how it compares. That is what is shown over here. Moreover, the full version of GLAM has 1.2 trillion total parameters, but it only activates 97 billion parameters. Okay, 97 billion parameters per token during inference. So that is what is shown over here. Okay, so how does this scale? Now GLAM has two ways to scale. One, you can scale the number of experts per layer, where each expert is hosted within one computation device, or scale the size of each expert to go beyond the limit of a single device. Okay, to evaluate the scaling properties, we compare the respective dense model feed forward layers instead of a mixture of expert layers with similar flops per token at inference time. So what they say is that average 0 shot and 1 shot performance by increasing the size of each expert, that is what is shown over here. Okay, the flops per token prediction at inference time increases as the expert size grows. Okay, as the expert size grows, then it increases. Okay, performance across tasks scales with the size of experts, and this GLAM sparsely activates models also performs better than dense models for similar flops during inference for generation tasks. Okay, for understanding tasks, they observed that they perform similarly at smaller scales, but sparsely activated models outperform at larger scales. That is the conclusion over here. Okay, so what is the data efficiency? They say that during inference, the general language model takes less number of G flops. Okay, but during training it takes more. Okay, this is because during inference only 2 experts are being used at every layer, right? So whereas in training, it takes more computation time because it trains on more number of tokens. Okay, again, this is the learning curves when you have different training token size. Okay, so the conclusion over here is that average 0 shot and 1 shot performance of sparsely activated and dense models on 8 as more tokens are processed in the training. Okay, that is what is shown over here. So what they say is that the results above show that sparsely activated models need to train with significantly less data than dense models to reach similar 0 shot and 1 shot performance, and if the same amount of data is used, sparsely activated models perform significantly better. Okay, that is what is being written over here, in the sense that the sparsely activated model performs better with same amount of data compared to your dense this thing, and they need to train with significantly less data than dense model to reach similar 0 shot performance. Okay, the power consumption wise, what they say is that during training, your GLAM, okay, what they say is that GLAM uses more computation during training thanks to most efficient software implementation. That is why they are saying that it uses less power to train than other models, because it can do efficient computation using GSPMD and TPU4, which is Google specialized hardware. Okay, so in conclusion, what they say is that their large scale sparsely activated language model the generalist language model, it achieves competitive results on zero-shot and one-shot learning in a more efficient model than other monolithic dense counterparts like GPT-3. They also have a high quality data set is essential for large language models. So this is quite interesting concept. I would be interested in actually looking at this particular model, and if someone comes up with even smaller version of this mixture of experts model, which might use even lesser number of parameters, but give some kind of equivalent performance, probably a distilled version of this GLAM or generalist language model. Okay, so I hope you find this video on generalist language model useful. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'll put the link of this blog and the paper in the description of the video. I would also want to dive deep into this paper. Probably you can also read this paper to understand more about what is this generalist language model and what they have done with this model. So see you in a new video. Happy learning.